Look at my teeth, I'm Tom Cruise. Like, I mean, if we get stuck for a title, at least we've got one this week.
How did you identify Tom Cruise's fucking teeth?
We got this master dentist in to analyse this trailer. Is Tom Cruise in it? Oh, wow. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bible Podcast, episode 196, with me, George.
And me, Steve.
Tom Cruise's dentist, by the fucking sounds of it.
Tom Cruise's dentist. It's confidential, I can't reveal my name.
Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, as we talk in depth about pop culture things, goings on, movies that we have and have not seen. Mainly the fact that we kind of duped you with the title a couple of weeks ago, like, because Moon Knight was probably mentioned for about 2 minutes. So we're going to do in depth on
the first half.
The first half, yeah, the first half of Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight, yeah. 3 episodes in, 6 episodes not left to go, but 6 episodes in total, so 3 more left to go. That's the math. 3 plus 3 equals 6.
Door. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't a conscious decision to ignore. And we talked about Morbius last week because we just let Michael rant on a bit. So apologies for the sound quality because the equipment is not yet.
Michael Wilson became Michael Morbius last week. But you didn't answer the question whether he's part of the Sinister Six or not.
Well, whether Michael is part of it or whether Morbius is part of it.
Both. Maybe I'm not trying to admit.
Maybe he's dead.
He's got identity disorder. Maybe there's 2 personas.
Are you saying that, like, Michael is actually Michael Morbius? Well, he'll have to come back on to defend himself, Miguel. So apologies for the sound quality was a bit because we had problems with Restream, we had problems with Discord because when the fuck don't we? I need to, and it was coming out the speakers of the monitor itself, which are itself not great, which makes editing this a bit hard because it's like, it does sound like shit, but then it sounds normal when it
do it.
Is played through a phone when we listen to it afterwards. Not that we listen to this much, not that we do anything much with this. Anyway, on with the show. I need to get speakers, so I might just like pop down and buy some in Asda.
Like some Dolby Atmos, like 7-point round surround channel speakers.
Yeah, I'll get like the big box thing. I'll put the box thing down there, and then I'll put the things like either side, and then it'll sound less shit. And then I'll buy another one of those, and then we can just, I don't know, get pissed and stream Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Hello, Senate, Mr. Jar Jar Binks. So obviously we've got Moon Knight coming up. We've got Connor's seen a fantastical beast, and he knows where to find them.
I'll best describe it without giving it away.
And I think with our affiliation with J.K. Rowling herself, we'll just let Connor go in depth on spoilers because I'm not really that fussed about this series in terms of the overall story because I have a feeling that, I mean, it's done slightly better than it, but I feel it's the I don't know about you. It's got this the sequel trilogy vibe of they never really had a story planned. They've just gone, oh, this works, let's do this. And now but I feel like the benefit of having more, it's probably because they've got more films, because it'll be 5 instead of 3. Like they've got the benefit of they kind of after the first one changed course for what they wanted to do, and it feels like from what I've heard from you and what I've read that if the last 2 carry on in the same vein as this one, it'll actually feel like more of a story in terms of
yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
The first one feels a bit out of the way and a bit thing, and then
side
2
questy.
feels like a stepping stone to the actual story at hand. So
yeah,
we'll let you go in depth on that.
It isn't a Last Jedi situation where one director wanted to do this and then it kind of went, fuck this, go the other way. It felt like where to find them was just this little book that, oh look, it's based on a kid's book, let's just do a kid's story.
Will I see it? I'll probably end up getting dragged to see it because both Lara and her sister are very big Harry Potter. Like a lot of people in my life are big Harry Potter fans, so like as much as they equally don't agree with J.K. Rowling and her opinions on things, it's a thing of, and I kind of get it because once you've seen one of them, it's like, do I have to finish this? Whereas I'm perfectly happy of just like forgetting about it.
Yeah.
But we'll get onto that in a bit because I assume like when I eventually see it, we'll just sort of have a big in-depth about J.K. Rowling because that's not going to rile the internet. But I wanted to start, dear baby boy, with
something just as fantastical.
Do you have, like, I feel like this really pleased my OCD. So this was a person on Twitter posted this. I forgot to save who it was from because I just saved the picture.
Oh. Credit.
And it's about Jimmy Bond.
Jimmy Bond?
Who said that...
is that a Prime series based on James Bond?
Basically, yes. And this person basically said, like, I don't care who it is that plays them, but the next James Bond has to do 3 films, no more, no less.
Okay, that's cool.
Or it's all for nothing, and I'll show you why. So this
sounds like a title.
So I'll go from the top down. So this is the home releases of the James Bonds, and I think you'll get it. So we got On Her Majesty's, George Lazenby, 1. 2 for David Dalton. The gap for 3 because then Pierce has 4. Daniel Craig has 5. Sean Connery has 6. Dr. No up to Diamonds Are Forever.
Blimey,
and then 7 for Roger Moore.
That's okay. That's an odd pattern. 1, 2, 3.
So they're saying if the next one does 3, then we got a perfect pyramid. But then obviously the one after that will have to do 8. So
he's got to outweigh the competition.
or get sacked before the first one comes out, because then you can
have an invisible.
But then how would you recognise someone that had been sacked? You'd have to have like a little picture like in the corner. But I because I'd never really thought about it like that. It's like that's weird that
you showed me that image.
James Bond has done the same amount of films.
Movies. No, that's true. That's very.
They've
true.
all done one or
thank
more.
Goodness. Yeah, thank goodness.
But none of them have ever made the same amount, and I think that's kind of oddly unique in a franchise as long as James Bond
the universe tends to sort of find equal parallels in the oddest of circumstances, and everything has sort of a universal pattern. But that for a minute there,
it sounded like you become Matt Smith in Series 6. And these things happen, and we call them miracles. Never ignore a coincidence unless you're busy. Then always ignore it, and especially if you're in Morbius.
That is such an odd thing to notice. I
literally
it's baffled
for a series that's been going 60 years this year. Happy birthday, James Bond!
Blimey, looking good.
Part of me wishes that they just delayed No Time to Die another year, just so it'd be like,
I know.
Retroactively,
it's like Doctor Who.
Retroactively, then Daniel Craig would have been James Bond for 2 different anniversaries, which has not been done ever.
Right, yeah.
Because
Blimey.
Because 1972, which was the 10th anniversary, was between Diamonds Are Forever and Live and Let Die.
Yeah, that's right.
82 was somewhere in Roger's camp.
Octopussy and For Your Eyes Only, I think.
So it's about there.
81, 83, yeah.
And then 92 was 3 years after License to Kill.
Yeah, exactly, because GoldenEye wasn't until 95.
And then the 40th was Die Another Day, 50th was Skyfall, and the 60th there isn't one.
There isn't.
Technically, but it would have been funny if, the movie that was meant to come out in 2019 eventually came out on 2022, the 60th anniversary.
4 years later, Jesus, 3.5.
Which is mad to think that the gap between Skyfall and No Time, the Skyfall being the 50th and the 60th, the 10 years that you've only had another 2 films since Skyfall. It's really fucking weird to think of.
No, but going off topic slightly.
That's what we do. We don't have a fucking. Slightly more professional, but
we'll go back to Bond. No, we're not done with the bondage yet. But a certain God
James Bond
full of love and thunder. The gap you were talking about, records and gaps between this and this. The trailer, July the 2nd. We were supposedly waiting for a rumored trailer on April the 11th. Literally every minute.
Because
notification.
Yeah.
Nothing. We didn't get a trailer. We've got less.
I mean, you shared the post that the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder would play after Thor 4, which is the same film.
According to that one person on Twitter, not. According not. No, maybe 4 is another title. Maybe we've been lied to the whole time.
Yeah, no, this isn't a Thor film. It's a Guardians 3.6.
It's a Korg film. It's my origin.
It's the first Korg film. That is, yeah. I feel like because July, isn't it? So
July. All I was going to say is it's the shortest gap between a trailer and its premiere date.
Because we've not had anything.
Had nothing.
Which is
nothing.
The last film to really do that, I think, in terms of closeness, was probably Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Maybe.
Because even the Star Wars would. Because the thing with films is you can either get up the hype early, which they don't really do anymore, because they know that once the viral marketing kicks in, that everyone's going to know about the film anyway, and know that it's going. And normally between 3 to 2 months between is when it's when it really kicks in, and people are like, oh, this movie's coming out soon, because the press tour's begun. That's why
it would be rounding up soon. But then we do know that I want to say the Hindi or Malaysian voice actress went on Instagram, put a story up and said she's done her lines for the trailer, and then there was an article I read, I don't know if I did send you this or not, but essentially I think the instance with Spider-Man, they had a Comic-Con-ish event or some event where it was after 10 days after posting that they recorded their lines, that is then it premiered. But because there isn't an upcoming event in the next 10 days or 7 by the time this comes out, it might be a quicker reveal for the Love and Thunder trailer, which will eventually be out. Maybe this time next week we might be able to talk about it. Hopefully.
Maybe. I mean, it would be nice.
We know they are working on it, so it's not just a case of,
the thing is, I could go into that without looking at a trailer. And it might be, because I kind of wish I'd seen nothing of the Spider-Man trailer and then avoided it, but it's one of those things that you could not hide anywhere from that trailer.
Whether it's your bus stops, their bus... Yeah,
but I'd be perfectly happy to walk into Thor Love and Thunder not knowing anything about it.
No.
And then still appreciating it and enjoying it, because it's going to be a fucking fun ride no matter. But we have seen the looks of certain characters
through merchandise.
Yes, because your favourite things, the Marvel Legends.
Legendary figures.
Yeah, because now whenever I see them, I just send them to you, because the best thing is that all I can do now is just buy them for you out of inconvenience, like Icarus. Because your OCD might annoy you enough that you feel the need to buy Fastos and go.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Thena.
No, I don't want Angelina Jolie.
What about Kit Harington? Not as as Kit Harington, not as
Dane.
Not as Dane Whitman,
not as Blade Whitman.
Imagine if that was a 2-pack. Something to ponder. But
maybe.
So we got to look at Gore the God Butcher.
Who is definitely Christian Bale.
That is good Christian Bale likeness.
It's like if any of you didn't know that it was Christian Bale, you literally look at that leaked image. It's like
the bottom half of his face. It's like
weird.
That's a repurposed Batman toy.
Yeah, honestly.
The Ravager Thor that we've seen, like the behind the scenes shots of basically the biker cuts, like red leather jacket. So basically, what we're assuming Thor's done is he gets given a Ravager jacket because like he's with the Guardians. But he either rips or cuts the sleeves off, and then looks very 80s because he's got like a white vest top underneath and Stormbreaker. Jane Foster Mighty Thor, the Build-A-Figures Korg with his new furry apparel, like on the boots and the
attire.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I mean. I don't know why I fucking said it wrong. And what else? Thor's. We're assuming the third act costume. Big gold blue, very comics 80s inspired in the colour scheme.
And tribute,
big and brash and noisy, and I like it.
Colourful and bombastic,
Star-Lord.
And
Groot.
Groot.
Was it adult Groot or was it...
I think it is adult. I feel like he might start off as a kid and then grow, maybe.
Because he was teenage in Infinity War Endgame.
Infinity War. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from the Guardians 2 post-credit scene onwards, wasn't it? So, we're assuming he's getting back towards adultness. There wasn't any. There wasn't. Was it Nebula? Was Nebula in that? Because I feel like there was one more.
I can't actually remember. I might look up.
But I know we're getting a Moon Knight and Mr. Knight 2-pack. Does that tempt you?
Is that official?
That's on the website for pre-order.
Oh! So guys, it's not a leak. This is not a drill. This is
Let me find that. Let me find it, and you figure out if we got to look at it. Yeah.
Oh.
Moon Knight. I love this is really good for audio content where we're googling stuff. In the meantime, while you're doing that, so Ezra Miller, who we'll get onto much more in depth when we get to the old Fantastic Beasts. Been a bit of a bad boy. Because obviously, arrested in Hawaii like those couple of weeks ago.
You sure they didn't cast him as the Reverse Flash instead?
That would be mate. Imagine if that was a rug pull. Like jokes, it was Wally West and we've killed him. But fans have been campaigning for Grant Gustin to replace Ezra Miller in the DCU Flash. And I saw a great TikTok where it was the behind the scenes of him filming the Flash. You know where like they're on the thing like to do the running, like they've got the green screen and he's on the thing with the projections going. Mm-hmm. And like he does the thing to look around and screams. I don't know what season it's from because I'm not really caught up on the Flash and I don't really plan to. But so like the caption was when you're like approaching the end of your time as the Flash and now all the fucking nerdy crybabies are campaigning for you to take over in the films, and it's when he turns around and screams. But, no!
It's a possibility. It's a frightening possibility.
Future aside in Fantastic Beasts, because we'll talk on that.
Yeah.
What is going on with DC and their stars? Like, Ben Affleck gave up.
Yeah, he just.
They've had to drag Michael Keaton out of retirement to be Bruce Wayne.
To do, I assume, not Vulture stuff, but Batman stuff. Whether he knows what he's doing or not.
I don't think he. I think he'll just turn up on the day and be like, "Which company is this?
Is this Beyond?
Is this Marvel or DC? I don't know. Like, am I fighting Spider-Man or am I fighting
Barry Allen or
am I fighting Ezra Miller's urges to send me like down a fucking rabbit hole of shit?
Am I gonna go to Hogwarts or some shit? Am I gonna get a wand?
What the fuck's Jude Law? Like Henry Cavill wants to stay, but Warner Brothers are just doing everything they can to not keep him.
Never exists.
Yeah. What do you mean? Who's Henry Cavill?
Who is that?
Who? Yes, I can hear you, Henry Cavill.
Who is Dr. Henry Cavill?
But yeah, it's a bit. I feel like there's an essay to be had in that. But would you replace because the Flash has been everything's been delayed again, apart from we're getting Shazam 2 and Black Fury, Black Adam,
Black Moon Knight, Adam Man, Adamantium Man.
Like they're the only two DCU movies we're getting now this year.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
So my question is, what the fuck's happening, man? Like.
Don't know. Marvel are going to go to infinite dimensions and across multiverse and recast a lot of the same faces from before, which may or not be a good thing depending on what they do with that. Whereas DC are just literally doing their Phase 1 films for the next 5 years.
Oh, nice. Okay, so can confirm they're not a 2-pack. They're just on both come out for pre-order at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Because they're part of this next Disney Plus wave, which includes Hawkeye, both versions of Hawkeye, which I think I sent you ages ago. So you've got
maybe you did.
Moon Knight.
Oh la la!
He looks very nice.
Yeah.
There's him with a black background for some reason, but the builder figure for the wave is Infinity Ultron from What If.
Oh.
And then that's Mr. Knight.
Oh la la! No, they both look very good.
Yeah. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. My name's Stephen with a V.
That's weird, but I'll allow it. I saw a random TikTok this morning where they're going to meet and it's going to be, my name's Stephen with a PH. They are going to meet and go,
Stephen with a PhD.
Have that conversation, yeah. Stephen with a PhD. I hope that happens.
But yeah, that was the thing. That was that. Ezra Miller. I mean, why not, instead of getting Grant Gustin to do it, who arguably should have done it anyway, just 100%. Like Stephen Amell could have easily been Green Arrow in the DCU. But I get the whole multiversal thing because they kind of started doing it before Marvel, and then Marvel have just taken it and done it even better.
Yeah. And quicker.
So far.
And quicker, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a long way to go. They could fuck it up. I mean, they probably won't, but they could.
Oh yeah, the potential is always going to be there. Yeah.
So, why not cast a Wally West? Why not?
Yeah, do
something Flash. Because you've got Iris
West Allen.
Yeah, Iris West is in Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
because she was cut. Her scenes were cut from the original one.
Yeah,
like so she's there. So why not cast, a Wally West?
Wally West.
You know, and then you can have the whole thing of like the Twilight Show. Oh fuck, Barry's gone, and like, because do you like? I don't really feel any, mainly because I'm not as invested in the DCU, and I've avoided more of it than I've watched, but I have like rewatched some of it, like Man of Steel and things like that, and I'm like, there's fun to be had in here, and it's kind of a wasted opportunity, but like I don't really feel any connection to Ezra Miller as the Flash.
No, he hasn't had a real opportunity to shine.
Because the Flash is a fucking great comic book character.
Yeah, I want him to succeed. I want him to do well.
I want the DCU to be as good as the MCU, because then they're like, oh, we've got to up our game because the competition's just as good as us,
and it's all healthy. Yeah.
But maybe just get Wally West in, like cast a Wally West, like have someone be a Wally West, like an unknown, like just make a star out of it. Doesn't matter about their ethnicity or whatever, because is that ever really important to Wally West character? Because Iris is been cast as a African American actress in the films and the TV, even though she's not all like predominantly in the comics. She's not.
Oh, okay.
So that's been a thing that's been a conscious choice, and it's like that's like a thing of like it's just the person who's good right for it. So like do that, like have a star vehicle for someone else, and just stop giving people like Ezra Miller jobs, because Hollywood clearly never learns their lesson. Just like, I don't know how this segue works.
I found
the creators of Sherlock
Oh, what, Sherlock, yeah, huh? The
are
creators.
still very eager to make a return to the series with, I believe it was Moffat that said in an interview that I would start writing it tomorrow. But he hasn't. So.
Oh, it's simple as no.
Because I remember when 4 was in production, like they'd had plans for. They'd planned up to a series 5, like for series 4.
Oh, for 4.
For 4, yeah.
4 and Sherlock are gonna cross over.
But for series 4, like they'd like. While doing that, they'd planned a 5, and they had implications of where they would go for a series 6. Like, series 4 is very much the beginning of the origins of Holmes and Watson, because it ends with, like, and it was going to end with the beginning ... kind of thing. You know that freeze frame at the end? It was going to end like that, because it's like it kind of gets rid of all the baggage of their origin story and leaves it for we can now go back to just them solving a case.
Yeah,
which would be nice because we've not had that since series 1. It's unfortunately one of them shows that are just like their stars are just so busy, and what am I saying?
They've become Hollywood stars and
mega in their own rights, and like Benedict Cumberbatch going on at the time to do Khan in Star Trek, Smaug in The Hobbit, obviously most consistently the Sorcerer Supreme. Well, not anymore because it's Wong, but
no on the technicality. I was gone for 5 years. I was dead for 5 years.
I love how that Wong just glosses over that and just carries on the conversation, because Benedict Wong is amazing. Maybe just do that. Just the name of the guy playing Sherlock's still Benedict. It's just imagine Benedict Wong just
as back as Sherlock.
Yeah, but playing it like really northern, just like Salford's finest, Benedict Wong. And obviously consistently still Doctor Strange, and even Martin Freeman now tied up in the MCU as Everett K. Ross in some capacity, which I hope he turns up again, not just in the Wakanda Forever and the Wakanda series. I'd seed him, man. Get him. I a part of me wished that he'd had sort of a small role in, maybe he's in the board, in kind of the courtroom thing for Falcon Winter Soldier, as part of the government representative, a voice in the government going this is wrong, instead
even
of just
armor wars and stuff, maybe
potential. But yeah, and obviously Martin Freeman did The Hobbit and other things, and the series is doing on the BBC and stuff like that. The Responder is quite good. So yeah, it's just become one of them shows that it was scheduling, not just the fact that production-wise it would just come out every 2 years, was because of give them enough time to go off and do their other things as their profiles raised, and that's a point where when do you bring it back?
When can you bring it back?
Because it's been 5 years, January just gone, since Series 4.
Wasn't it? It's 2017, yeah.
But we had a Christmas special the 2016 year, and then 2014 was the... Yes, that was a big gap, 2014 to 2017, really. But now we're on the biggest gap that we've had. I've made my feelings about Sherlock I don't hate the show. It just became one of those things that it just jumped up its own arse. Towards the end, it was just because Moffat is how to do this without talking about Doctor Who. Let's mention it briefly. Series 6 in particular.
Series 6
was what garnered him a lot of thing of trying to seem cleverer than he was. But I think I still argue that Series 6 really works and is really quite good, because I enjoy it quite a lot and it's quite fun.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Series 6 is a lot of fun.
And stuff like that in 7, it was always make it more complicated, be clever and twisty and all that kind of stuff. And while doing that and making Sherlock at the same time, I think Sherlock suffered a lot from that. I think from Series 3 onwards, because I still think the first 2 series are the best version of that show.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Series 1, in terms of the format of just Sherlock solving cases, is the only really series we get. It becomes more about the wider story and Moriarty and the conspiracy, and then faking his own death, and then that is he kills him off, brings him back before the end of the credits, and the whole thing is you spend 2 years thinking how does he survive it, and then you have the thing of how does Moriarty survive it, and then you have this, and it's always a thing to lead on to this and this and this.
It feels like an episodic show, whereas and
it all became super spies and SWAT teams that they were part of and things like that, and you're it's Sherlock's not really about this. That's not really what you're meant to do.
It's an anthology novel, detective, go from murder to murder, mystery to mystery, without overarching plot threads, really.
And that's the thing it kind of lost. And I still think it's good. And there's people that it was a proper TV show of the Tumblr generation, like the fanfic and things like that.
That's good.
It's one of those things, and I don't hate it for it. I just think that there's, if it can get back to now that all that bullshit's out the way, it can just be if it's a series 5 of solving cases, adapt to more of the
famous novels,
the Conan Doyle stories, you can, because you've done quite a few of them. Maybe get a couple more. You could probably get a couple more series out of it. It's not something that I'd want to do like Poirot and stuff that just went on and on and on. I think bring it back for a bit longer.
Every story imaginable with Poirot, every story imaginable.
But it's also it's the drop off now. Are people going to really clamour for the Sherlock series 5?
The demand, is it going to be higher compared to something along the lines of Stranger Things? A certain Ewan McGregor Kenobi after all these years. A blimmin'... What else? I feel like there's another show that we all wanted to see. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Names escape me.
Names things.
Doctor Who. The demand is there for Doctor Who. Right?
Is it? I don't know. Speaking of the demand for Doctor Who, we've got time of recording.
Right, time recording.
We have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have 4 days.
We do.
Until Legend of the Sea Devils. We've had trailers.
Yeah.
It looks good. I'm excited about this more than I was Eve of the Daleks. But I enjoyed I think I'm in the minority where I enjoyed Eve of the Daleks quite a bit.
Oh, I enjoyed it. To be honest, I quite enjoyed Eve of the Daleks. I've not
I think mainly because I didn't enjoy the ending of Flux and Flux overall in general.
I think a lot of people did. No.
So, and I had a lot of fun with Eve of the Daleks, and it felt like, that's a nice thing, because it feels like that's the last time we're going to see the Chibnall Daleks. I feel like that's the last thing, because
they shouldn't go out in the last episode.
No, because it's got to be the Master, surely. I'm looking forward to the return of the Sea Devils. The practical costumes still look great. The CGI to touch up like the facial features. Hopefully, because we get a continuation of the thread of the Doctor and Yasmin. Are we going to get that resolved and actually seen on screen? Not just maybe. We're going to take this on with 3 episodes to go, because it's always been there. You've always had the impetus to do it. So I would have respected it more if when Ryan and Graham left, that it would have been that's the reason she stayed. At least if not if the Doctor had heard it, but at least if she'd admitted to Graham I can't even if she'd gone, I can't leave her because I love her or something like that. And then you come into the series is she going to tell her? Yeah, and then you spend the whole of Flux wondering, and it gets to them maybe nearly dying in one of the earlier episodes, and you're and that's when she sort of blurts it out, and it's sort of God, I don't know how to deal with this, because
I'm an alien.
I'm
900 years old. Yeah.
Jodie Whittaker doing an impression of William Hartnell for a series. That would oh goodness gracious me, Yasmin. You must get back to the tap. Why are you talking like that, Doctor? I don't know. But yeah, by the time this comes out, it will be 2 days before. So next week we will be talking about Legend of the Sea Devils with our good friend Will. Will be on next week. So
fair enough.
Come and talk about that with us next time. But yes. What else?
And see how legendary it was.
Yeah, but Chibnall has basically been in interviews with the Radio Times and etc. About that he's totally 100% done with the show. But then it was a lot the same for Moffat and Russell at the time. A thing of I've done my because he says I rejected it a few times because I just thought I was never going to come back after doing what he did under Moffat.
Yeah.
So rejected it a few times, but one of the things was he just wanted to do the impetus of a 5-year plan but a 3-year series.
Right.
So it was for me 3 series and I'm out. I don't want to do too much of it. I want to sort of get it done, leave on a high and go. Which a lot of people argue against, but I think in a few years' time it'd be nice to sort of come back to this era and sort of as a whole piece.
Yeah, reevaluate it.
What did the Chibnall and Whittaker era bring? Because I think that as much as people hate on it, there is a lot of positives still to be had in it. But and he also said he completely expects Russell to ignore his changes, which I don't think he will, because Russell is a lot of things, but Russell is also a very good custodian for the show. He respects all mythology.
Custodian of continuity.
Yes. Which also a show with nearly 60 plus years worth of
rewrites
of material.
Sorry.
It's easy to contradict yourself in continuity, especially that, because it's not just you've got to watch a couple of series. It's you've got to go back and watch 60 years worth of telly if you wanted to keep everything right and lined up. But the fact everything's in flux, and as the people of the Big Damn Cast put it, which is finished weekly, but it's still a fantastic podcast, and you should go and listen to it. Is that everything's continuity and nothing's continuity? depends on the writer, when you need it, and what's happening. But also like
a last big finish. A last big finish is how I describe big finish.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's in between a certain doctor's life and what companions with him and stuff. As long it happened, it happened. Just let it, in your own personal mind, just let it fit into wherever you like to slide it in. But of course, you can have the contradictions and this has to happen before this certain event or whatever. Just continuity. It happens.
It happens and then it doesn't happen. And also, Russell famously didn't like the whole half-human doctor thing, but also didn't contradict it. Like, I don't think he'll go out of his way to contradict the Timeless Child thing.
No.
If anything, I think he'd think, there's a thing I can do with that. Maybe expand upon it a bit. And maybe he might even not bring Chris in, but sort of like maybe get him to go over get him to go over scripts that include stuff about the time, like what would you do if this was you, like how would you do, because that would be nice if because that feels like a thing that I don't think we're going to get tied up in these last 2 episodes, especially because the focus is going to be building to a regeneration and then having regeneration to someone that we still as of yet do not know who it is, which I like the balls on them for that. Like, if we can go into it and not find out who it is, I would love that, because it would just be
absolutely.
Ooh, it's them. It's so and so. It's Lydia West. It's Tania Miller.
It's someone we don't know. Yeah.
It's Joe Martin, because I think the surprise factor would only work for a big name, like a thing of like, oh fuck, it's so and so. Like it's, but I think it could also work if it was like Joe Martin. Like if it was just a thing of like, she's the Doctor now, and Russell really wants to sort of finish and tie off this thread, and then have another Doctor. So like he does like another 2 Doctors. But like one of them's Joe sort of wrapping up the Chris Chibnall stuff and being like, because I think he would find that interesting. So, but I do feel bad for Chibnall being basically like shat on by the fandom and then wondering why he's done with the show. Moffat went through that, but not as scrutinous and not in as short a space of time, because I think until Series 7 he wasn't getting criticised as much in the general wider fandom, like online and stuff. It was like from then on it was like you're doing this and you're doing this, and it was because like the first 2 years essentially brought him the love and respect and godly status, and then it was Doctor Who fans are fickle fuckers, man.
To the fucking masses anyway.
Yeah, without him it wouldn't be as popular as it is now. Like with the Doctors, all the showrunners are important.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Even you, JNT, but like we have a lot to like moan at him for, but without John Nathan Turner, would it have survived as long as it has? I don't think
Probably not. No.
Like Percy Jackson, has been cast.
Companion of the Doctor.
Has been cast in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians Disney Plus show, and it is of course the Adam Project star Walker Scobell,
aka Ryan Reynolds Jr. That guy.
Ryan Reynolds from the past.
Yeah, no, amazing guy. He was great in the movie. So.
And Ryan's tweeted his support in him, because he's in real life he's what, like 14, 15?
I think he's still a school kid.
Yeah. So we're gonna actually get a
somewhat accurate Percy Jackson.
And it's going to be nice to see him grow with the character over these presumably 6-7 seasons that are like the books.
If it all goes well.
I'm a person that doesn't really hate the films.
I've not seen the films. I remember at primary reading the first book, but I don't think I actually got to the end. I can't remember.
I'd say the second film is definitely better in terms of quality and an adaptation, but I do still enjoy a lot about
Percy
Lightning
Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Yeah, Lightning Thief, and then Sea of Monsters.
How many books are there in the series?
6 or 7, something like that. But then he then goes on to sort of like these sort of like Beyondy spin-offs. Like Spiderwick had 5 books and then had like a spin-off series of books about the thing that linked into the. So I think it was a bit like that. You had the main books and then
series and then other things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But Rick Riordan is involved in it, like as an executive producer, the writer for the book. So I look forward to that. Like, because there's not been a Disney Plus series that I've hated.
No, not yet. No.
In terms of like not just like the Marvel and Star Wars stuff, like I think that there is everything they're putting. I think they're putting more into the series because, like, making television they've not really done until now.
No,
and it's proving that they've got some really clever genius minds still there, like, all over the place.
Not connected, but is it Owning Murders in the Building? I want to see that.
That's quite good. I've not finished the first season because the second season is in production. And from what I've seen of the first season, it is a lot of fun, and I'd like to finish that. Because Martin Short and Steve Martin are great together. As Selena Gomez is also like very like surprisingly able to hold her own within that group of characters as well.
Without being overshadowed.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And for someone she's still relatively quite young, I think, just because she's been on Disney Channel, we just expect that she's just been around for so long.
Exactly,
Whereas like she's very she's grown into quite a different actress if you just know her from The Wizards of Waverly Place. But Brie Larson, Jason Momoa, and Daniela Melchior are changing lanes to Fast and Furious. They've joined the cast for Fast 10.
I heard about Brie Larson. Look, Jason Momoa's in it as well. And Daniela. Oh.
Jason Momoa is apparently
Vin Diesel's brother, the third brother.
Apparently was a brother of either of him or will be the villain, like a. Because
all right, I'm gonna go. Not brother, cousin. It's Vin Diesel's
It's all about
cousin.
family.
It is all about family.
I mean, it's gonna be nice to see Brie because Vin did a post about Brie being in it, and then obviously the other two were confirmed to be in it as well. Great for Jason Momoa because I love that he's in more things because before he got Aquaman, he was kind of being shit on by the industry. So it's nice that he's doing well because he does deserve it because he's a charismatic bastard. But don't make jokes about rape at Comic-Con. Probably
Oh, really?
Oh, that was during Game of Thrones.
Years
doesn't make it okay, but it was
no.
that resurfaced a lot recently.
Oh, okay, that.
It was just the way he was nonchalantly joking about the shows, like rape and stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, I mean it's a serious thing that happens to people. It's just maybe don't joke about it, even though it is for the visual medium of the show.
Yeah.
So because obviously it's Fast and Furious 10 Part 1.
Yes, Part 1 and 2.
Which is due out next year.
2023, I'm sure. Yeah.
And then 2024 for Part 2 because it's going to be filmed a la Deathly Hallows and whatever the last film of Twilight was called. And
Dawnbreak, Batman, Dawnbreak.
Breaking Dawn, I think it was.
Breaking Dawn, yeah.
So it's going to be done simultaneously and then done as 2 parts. So technically there is still only 10 Fast and Furiouses,
10
but there's 11 movies.
11 movies, yeah.
Well done, Vin. Get it out for one more. Dwayne Johnson has also confirmed that he's not going to be in these last 2.
No, because as Sonic said in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, they joke about certain plot people having beef, and they go, like Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Oh.
They name drop Vin Diesel and The Rock, and it got such a huge reaction both times. I was like, oh, that's great.
Which is weird because it all started because he was mad about the spin-off, which Hobbs and Shaw's good. I really enjoy it and have a lot of fun.
That a lot.
No word from Jason Statham about whether he is or isn't in the last 2. There's been no confirmation or denial
until the trailer, maybe a trailer.
So yeah, that's a nice little because they've added good people because John Cena was good in Fast 9. Fast 9's not a good film.
No,
I think
it kind of went on for
of the recent ones where they actually find form, which I think from 5 onwards, I think 9 was the weakest.
I think you may be right there. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I surprisingly enjoyed 8 a lot, Fate of the Furious. I think I was like, oh, that's quite cool, and then I was like, oh, Luke Evans and Jason Statham are in it as well because they're like, fuck it, we'll just bring back all the characters in.
Why not? Cinematic universe, baby.
The only thing is why are you including Brian? I know it's because what's his sister's name? It's not Letty. Letty's his other half.
Michelle Rodriguez. His sister. Yeah, what the hell was his sister?
What's his sister's name? Yeah, you Google that.
Vin Diesel's sister in the film.
Yeah, in the Fast and Furious franchise, because then it's obviously you see the Brian's car pull up and he walks in because obviously
Mia Toretto.
Yeah, that's the one, and you know that she she's still they're still alive in this universe, and she comes back in because it's all it's about his brother and their brother and taking down. Yeah. Was that in 9? I'm confusing them. They're all they're all the fucking same. But yeah, I thought 9 was quite weak, especially when it's we're toying with the idea of sending cars to space.
Yeah, exactly. It was shall we do? Oh, fine. You want a tease? Well, here you go, bitches. Whee!
Conor.
Yeah. Hello, mate.
1 sec.
1 second. He says that as he walks away, and his voice got louder.
It's just because
all right.
I always forget the cooking smell drifts up, so I've got to close the doors.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking, that's right. Dwayne Johnson's downstairs, folks. If this video gets a certain amount of likes, we'll get him up right now.
If you smell what the podcast is making. So I want you to talk. You can talk in spoilers because no one really gives a fuck. And by no one, I mean me.
Yeah, you. Yes.
And I think most people that want to see it have seen it. We know the beef. This will come up again later when I probably eventually get dragged to go and see it.
Fantastic
But
beef.
talk about Fantastic Beef.
Fantastic Beef. The rise of the Wagyu steak. The secrets of
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. or what the hell did Eddie
Yumble Dumbledore.
Yumble Dumbledad.
Yumble Dumbledaddy.
Yumble Dumbledaddy.
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
The third film in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, the
number 3.
11th film in the Wizarding World
franchise, which wasn't called Wizarding World until the Fantastic Beasts lot came out.
But then it's quite cool because then it's, it brands in with, I mean, not that we should give her more money, but it brands in with all the the Harry Potter Legacy games and the stuff and merchandising for the parks and things like that.
I'm still looking forward to that game.
I'm looking forward to the game.
Legacy. Mm-hmm.
They played up a lot in the trailer. I know my problem with the first trailer was, look, here's all the clips from Harry Potter, because you remember this franchise is still happening, right? And that you still love all these characters. Yeah, well, none of them are in it, but here's old Dumbledore. Here's a glimpse of everyone at Hogwarts, and then here's some completely unrelated characters. And Eddie Redmayne's still in it because we kind of have to put him in it. Yeah. That's I want to do a video essay on, I keep saying it, but when the equipment is done and ready, I want to do stuff I want to talk about Fantastic Beasts and the implications of J.K. Rowling and the wider Wizarding, because this film series is strange.
Fantastic Beasts and where to find the lack of energy in this fucking franchise. Where's the energy?
So first off, we'll just do briefly spoiler free. Just what did you think of the movie? What did you think before? What did you think after?
So yeah, quick.
Because you did a cheeky rewatch, didn't you?
Of the series thus far. Because I mean, where to find them? I remember being a good, enjoyous creature fest. But very much a companion piece.
6 years ago.
I know, exactly, and I don't want to say it shows or anything, but it isn't anything more than it was first time round and second time round.
But it's not lost anything for you.
No, but it didn't gain anything either. It was just this is
it's
fine.
not improved through it, because I still have. I think you're right. I still have as good of a time watching it now, and mainly because out of the two, it's the best one.
The better made movie, absolutely. It's better made.
Is it still the best one?
It's like the Iron Man one before knowing it's part of the wider universe. It just feels like its own thing. You could take away the Fantastic Beasts and the Hogwarts mentioned. You could just call it a magic movie.
It could just be set. It could just be set in the world, but you wouldn't know it until
Hogwarts.
a thing.
Harry Potter's in the newspaper, folks. Who killed Potter? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is it still the best movie in this series so far? Number one.
I think overall yes, but I wouldn't say my favourite. Maybe.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. In terms of
doing its purpose, its sole purpose.
Because this one, we've been plagued with the production problems, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Then obviously the delay and COVID. With this one, because then Mads Mikkelsen's in it now, it's all been delayed. I think the script got scrapped. Because it was meant to be every 2 years, wasn't it? It was 2016, 2018, and then obviously, I know the pandemic and stuff, but they hadn't even started principal.
And as of February...
until late 2020 into 2021 is when they were filming it. Because it's in lockdown, he started growing Jude Law grew his Dumbledore beard.
Oh, fair enough. I was going to say, but as of February 2022, I think nothing's changed as far as I'm aware, but they still haven't wrote anything about the full film. But they still
know that it's going to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just confirming.
People saying that maybe this should just be the end of it, but it's not going to be, because we know that Warner Brothers have been desperate for a new franchise since Harry Potter and have returned to Harry Potter just to get more money out of it.
And this is the first, this Secrets of Dumbledore is the first step in that right direction, but you can't just have it end the way it is.
Yeah,
there's still things to kind of loosely connect.
So overall, because I kind of interrupted you, so in terms of the film, what works, what maybe doesn't work, what's better, what makes it better than Crimes of Grindelwald, and or more importantly, who for you is the star player in this film?
Blimey, okay. Right, and Crimes of Grindelwald came along back in 2018, and first time around weren't too chuffed. It just felt like all the references. It felt like epic action movie that we haven't seen none of the build up for, and big climatic showdown, and you've got these references in the world, and look, there's Lestrange, there's Nicholas Flamel from Philosopher's Stone for some fucking reason. You've got Dumbledore in it, you've got Hogwarts in it. It felt too contrived and too forced and too rushed, and just everything was just kablammed too quickly. But this, on the second rewatch, I actually did kind of prefer the movie. I just kind of accepted for what it was, and I feel very much so that this new instalment, Secrets of Dumbledore, kind of relies on that second on Crimes of Grindelwald. I'd say honestly, you had to do a rewatch. Leave Fantastic Beasts: Where to Find Them. Just go in watching Crimes of Grindelwald. It will sort of catch you up to speed, and you sort of need to know what you want to know, the basics. And then this feels like a proper sequel to the previous installment, whereas Crimes of Grindelwald didn't feel like a sequel to Fantastic Beasts: Where to Find Them.
I felt like when I was watching it, and I said at the time, I don't know if I said it on here because
it might have been.
It was, I think it was before. I think maybe.
Oh no, Crimes was December 2018. I'm sure.
So we might have talked about it, but I remember saying at the time because I went to see it with my cousin because we're big Harry Potter fans, and like we'd gone to see the second Fantastic Beasts, and I was like, I feel like this was the third film. I feel like I've missed a film between the first one and this one, because obviously, like we said, like the agenda changed between. Here's a nice little fun beastie cutie story with Eddie Redmayne and like these characters, and it's like, oh, now we've got to shoehorn into this greater story because it's actually about Grindelwald and Dumbledore, because we tack that on at the end, and we kind of want this to be the main focus, and that's where we're going to the when he defeats him in 1945. That's where we're heading.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So how is there more Jude Law than 5 minutes?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Is he good?
Yes. No, this one he is. Yeah.
Is he the best like in this film? Is this
the two?
I know that I know that his well, not just his name, but his surname is on the film.
Well, yeah.
Is this majority about him?
Yes. Which is a good and bad thing.
Because how does Eddie and
fit into the wider scheme of things?
Because it's Newt's brother.
Theseus.
I know that there's a Tina Goldstein cameo at the end.
Yeah,
and
she's
Queenie,
not in the movie.
And
Tina's not in it.
Even though she's his eventual wife, we've only seen her in the first one and a bit in the second one.
Yeah.
Because Queenie's obviously joined. She joined Grindelwald because she wanted
Which
to
again,
marry.
I totally forgot about, so I'm glad I rewatched Crimes of Grindelwald.
So it's really only Jacob and Newt.
The buddy cop dynamic.
Yeah. How are they?
Dan Fogler's still the best thing about this whole trilogy to me. He's the best thing about it. He's just solid 10 out of 10. Like, all right, part of me doesn't want the Muggle-born. You just want to get into the magic whistling action, but like having the audience-related comedic relief character in it kind of humours it and sort of, brings it down to earth a bit more.
Yeah. Well,
as much as humanely possible.
Yeah. What about Redmayne? Because obviously he's the link to the Fantastic Beasts of the title
franchise. Yeah. Again, it just feels.
Does it feel tacked on?
Yeah, he does. But he's great. But
could you take him out of the film and it makes no difference?
Not a lot. There's a couple of sequences which we've seen from
like the
trailers,
crabs and that.
That's all magnificent. But it's just
how are the beasts? Because obviously, like, how do they?
They were great.
Yeah.
They were
less. Are they less involved than the second one, or more than the second one?
Because
the second one was a bit like, oh, we've got to have an excuse to have Eddie act with some animals.
Yeah. No, this one they're very much involved, but it feels right. This one. Yeah, this one's good. They sorted the beasts out. Eddie Redmayne, or Newt Scamander, kind of feels tacked on a little bit, but going off the premise of Crimes of Grindelwald's first Dumbledore's army-ish legion, there's more of that a little bit in this one, which is why everyone's an ensemble.
Do you not feel weird that they've introduced new characters for them to be part of it instead of having Tina and Queen, like not necessarily Queenie because obviously she defected, but like have Tina be part of it in some capacity, because obviously they eventually go they eventually go and get married, like that's their thing. Even though like you're still longing for Zoe Kravitz's Little Lestrange,
who I forgot died at the end of the last one. She died at the end of Grindelwald.
Does she?
Yeah. See, I totally fucking. I
forgot that.
I was googling the cast. I was like, why is she not in Secrets of Dumbledore? But then
because she's in Batman.
And that she got better pay.
I'm gonna do the Batman. So can you kill me off, please, David Yates, the world's most boring director?
Yeah. Shots fired.
Tell me a David Yates film that looks different to the other David Yates films. None, because they're all Harry Potter films.
And they're all grey title sequences in the cloud coming towards they're all the fucking same. They are all the same.
I think it's just easy for them. And like, we'll just get David to do it again.
He
because
hasn't
he's
done
the most
anything other than Potter, hasn't he?
Yeah, because he was rumoured to be directing it was back in 2013, the Doctor Who movie that they wanted to reboot and have Johnny Depp be in it. And that was a new continuity.
That's two sentences I've never... Doctor Who movie, but with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
When was this ever a thing?
Like about 2012, 2013. Like it was rumoured. It was rumoured that they wanted to do a feature film, and Stephen Moffat then came out and said like, oh jeez. Stephen Moffat then came out and said like the
Even the door shot.
If you're gonna do a Doctor Who feature film, which they wanted to do, because like the BBC like obviously would have made more money out of it, and it was at the time where it was like getting to the peak and the anniversary coming up, like you would have to do it with. Like, no matter how like long the gaps are between the films, you would have to do it with the current Doctor from the TV thing instead of sort of rebooting it and having a new continuity, or having like a this is the
having
Doctor in
merge.
Yeah. Or having like this is an incarnations down the line. But yeah, they wanted David Yates for it because I think it was Warner Brothers that were either had or because Warner Brothers have the rights to the Daleks on film, so I don't know if that has like because that's why the Daleks are in. Yeah.
I
think it's distribution for the Dalek films of art. I need to sort this door out. But,
the door's shocked.
But yeah, so that was the thing, right? And I like those Harry Potter films, but David Yates.
I can't imagine a David Yates Doctor Who sequence.
Do you know who could make a good? And I'm not just saying it, but do you know who I think? Two people I think could make good Doctor Who movies.
All right, go on.
Because of their love of like expansion and like the mythology. Not just Doctor Who, but the things they make. James Gunn.
Yes.
And Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
It would be a visceral and well-populated world. Like, there's more out there. Like, if I had to do a video on it, like, I could probably come up with some better names and more like diverse. But those are the kind of people you want to go after. Someone with a bit of soul and pizzazz.
Yeah.
Not just for Warner Brothers. For them, it's like just make the movies like you did them.
Exactly.
Because they made us money. Like
just what you did before.
You made us like $2 billion with the last two Harry Potter films.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah, and mainly because maybe they're too scared to get someone else to do it.
Possibly.
Because they think that someone else like having to do. Because I think there's a benefit and a curse to having the same voice do a whole series. There's a reason why I think the Skywalker sequel trilogy should have either just been all JJ or just you got someone else to do episode 9.
Yeah.
Because different voices create
different.
Like yes, it's someone else's film, but like it's a different flavour to that world. Like Ron Howard made a Star Wars movie that didn't really feel like a Ron Howard movie, but it felt like there was more going on in that.
Yeah, I get you that. Yeah.
Whereas with Harry Potter, like you had Christopher Columbus for like time 7 reasons doing the earliest ones and having like you need to use kids while they're kids, so they filmed the first two back to back. So it made sense to have the same director. Do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Then Alfonso Cuarón comes in and reinvents the style to a point where all the films that follow that one, they're trying to create that style and feeling, not just like in the films and the shots, but of the world, like in the production values, like the costume and stuff like that.
I was going to give you that. What if Alfonso Cuarón's stayed on instead, and we never got David Yates to do the rest of the installments, and it was still him going today? Would we have the same discussion?
That would have been. They would have been really. I think it would have been with anyone. Like if you have anyone like
to do
this
is for this long.
This is his 7th Wizarding World film.
7th, yeah.
Because he did. Because Mike Newell did Goblet. So even that was slightly different, but it was almost like it felt like an evolution of the Alfonso Cuarón world, and then David Yates sort of like finalised it and like made a decent. I think his best one still is Order of the Phoenix. But then it's like, are you going to hand off to a new director to direct Dumbledore's death? To direct the 2-part epic end of the series? No, you're going to do Trusted Hands, which is, I think, why he did Fantastic Beasts 1. And I think if you asked him, he probably wouldn't mind if he didn't have to do it, because it's a big budget blockbuster film series that he's had to do 7 times now, go through the whole production process.
2 decades, yeah, exactly.
And it's and there's a lot of pressure and controversy and quality control issues surrounding Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Do you want your name attached to that?
Spoiler warning, because now we're going to talk about it in spoilers, because, oh god, look. This is going to become the thing, because we're getting to the point where I think we're going to end up not talking about Moon Knight again, but... spoilers for Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore.
So, Dumbledore,
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
Because we've not touched on him yet.
The Flash.
And you shouldn't touch on him yet, because...
never.
Not without consent.
Yeah.
How is he? Because we got that weird thing of, you're Dumbledore's brother.
Dun dun dun, big epic cliffhanger to leave you crying out of theatre.
Which I know from certain things, on like I know who he actually is. So he's not Dumbledore's brother. Did that feel like that feel like a course correction because of the outcry? Because it was a whole thing of like they were just like, oh, we're adding to the mythology that Dumbledore had a secret brother that wasn't,
which wasn't verified until J.K. Rowling came out a couple of years before to sort of put it on Twitter.
Yeah,
one of those things where she had.
Well, no, it was just a gap that she can fill because she created the series. So like she's the one, right? And this is the first one that the screenplay is not solely by Joe. Like this has got Chris Cloves is co-written this, isn't he?
I think I didn't even know, to be honest.
I think it's Chris Cloves and JK. I'm a turf, but I'm still making money, so people should be nice to me. Rowling. So that's why I think that this is maybe getting a bit more because it's just she's doing the story, but she's not being left alone for let's write every. Because I think as a screenwriter, she's a bit shit. Let's just look for the quality standpoint. Huh? Fantastic Beast in terms of dialogue and a bit of things. It's like they don't feel like a final draft. No, especially Grindelwald. Really I feel like Grindelwald feels like there's a couple more edits to be had in here. So does it feel like a better rounded film because of that?
Yeah. So from the first scene, I'll break down Grindelwald again. I'm not Team Mickelson, Team Depp. I'm not. That whole situation. I'm not going to go into it because we've discussed.
Do they feel like the same character?
Well, no, but I'm going more from a screenwriting point of view.
Oh, yeah, go.
That Depp had in both movies.
You think you can hold
me? It's all about him. I mean, alright, he's literally in the last 2 minutes of Where to Find Them because of plot reasons with Colin Farrell.
Why didn't they just keep it as Colin Farrell? We've established in this world that he can change his face.
Yeah.
And also, not being funny, not being rude to Jude Law. I'll let you talk in a sec. But I'm not being rude to Jude Law, but. Why wasn't it Jared Harris? Why wasn't it original Dumbledore's son? Closer in age to Johnny Depp.
Fuck, I didn't even think
and slash, I know, because...
Jared Harris is Richard Harris' son. I didn't even realise that.
Jude Law is early 50s. Yeah. Depp is towards late, and I know that Jared Harris, who is the best Jared in Morbius, is
the only
60, 61.
61.
It would have been a nice full circle thing of I think OG Dumbledore kind of gets to still be you see him morph into his dad, not just a let's do Michael Gambon, because in the trailer, and this will be the last thing I'll say and I'll let you talk because I'm really dragging us close to an hour. But in one of the trailers you can hear some Irish twang to some of Dumbledore's words, and is that a conscious decision of we've kind of got to start evolving Dumbledore because this is the first real film with Dumbledore in it
100%.
All the way.
Yeah.
So we've kind of got to start the evolution of Jude Law to Michael Gambon, who is obviously, because presence and being in more films, is the more recognised Dumbledore. Mm-hmm. Whereas respect should be given to Harris's name. It should have been Jared because it would have been a nice thing. My dad didn't get to finish this, so I'm gonna
do it.
Yeah.
No, I think it was something stupid because it's brief side plug. BBC One Radio 1 host Addy Plum, who does very fun interviews with film stars and co-hosts.
Ginger guy with glasses. The ginger guy with the glasses.
Guy with the glasses. Yeah. I saw one with Jude Law this morning, and I think those questions got asked more or less, but essentially I think the character of Dumbledore by the time, because I think after Secrets of Dumbledore it's 12 years later until Philosopher's Stone or something ridiculous. I'm probably making complete shit up here.
It's 12 years between that and when you see him in the flashback in Half-Blood Prince.
Because they were joking around 12 years later.
About his robes and stuff.
How he looks so rough and scragged and whatever. Not making fun of Michael Gambon, but what's happened to Dumbledore over these years. And I think Jude Law sort of verified in this clip that essentially the character of Dumbledore, by the time he's in Half-Blood Prince, is 57. Jude Law is currently 51, I think he said.
Looks good on
52.
It. He's in his early 50s.
So they're saying over the next course of the couple films, like you say, we are going to get to that. Maybe be
robes,
more rough and scragged. But then by the time he does Fantastic Beasts 5, he will be in real life age of that Dumbledore.
Yeah, he'll be close to the character, Kenobi lining up with the timeline before New Hope. You're basically
compare it to that situation.
You're basically getting people into the starting positions for the beginning of, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had more than 2 more Fantastic Beasts films for the reason of they've not really prepared enough for the evolution of the character. Whereas if Dumbledore had been the role that Dumbledore plays in Crimes of Grindelwald, if you'd have had that scene in the first one. Mm-hmm. Had him in it a bit more, and then because obviously it's the whole thing of the blood pact stops them, but now that spoiler alert, that's gone because I know that because of a lot of things.
It is gone, yeah.
like then you have him more involved and like you see him like from because you've got to see him evolve now in 2 films from suits to just long purple robes.
As he jokingly said in an interview, you
just
know,
goes on a gap year to India.
So you've seen it?
I saw that ages ago.
You did see it. I thought it was new because it came up on my YouTube this morning.
Last week or something like that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, he went on sabbatical in India and got robes. He went for a soul cleanse or something. He joked around for a year.
It would just be a bit weird if in the last Fantastic Beasts film it's like, he looks like Dumbledore.
Because it would be. Yeah, it would be very odd. But no, the next couple of films will sort of delve into that a bit more, and you know, Jude Law will evolve as a performer.
Ezra Miller is Aurelius Dumbledore. Who is
going off the last cliffhanger. Aberforth Dumbledore's
illegitimate
son. Yeah. So
because I didn't realise Aberforth was in the movie until the trailer, where it's like you're looking for my brother, and it's like, that's a man trying to do a slightly shit Kieran Hines impression. Because Kieran Hines plays him in.
It was him in Potter, right? Yeah. Okay. So I didn't even get the actor who's doing it this time around. Is
Aberforth in it a lot, or is he in it just as a extended cameo kind of thing?
No, he's in it for a good chunk of the film. Richard Coyle, this guy
who's been in
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Netflix reboot.
Oh, that's meant to be good. I've still not checked it out.
It's called Coupling.
Yeah.
Fantastic, but nothing films wise that I've seen or heard of. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Yeah, so he's been in various things that nothing I've come across. But no, he was very good in this. Aberforth was, again, Kieran Hines in, what was it, Deathly Hallows or Half-Blood Prince? Or
Deathly Hallows. He was in Deathly Hallows Part 2. He's mentioned and I think seen in a couple of background shots, but it's a different actor. Because it wasn't actually played by Kieran Hines until the last one. It's like, let's make Aberforth. Let's actually bring Aberforth in, because I think he's a bit more in the books and talked about a bit more.
I feel like he's a book character more than a movie character.
Yeah.
So people will go into this and be like the casuals will be Dumbledore's brother.
But fair play, people are getting like their Aberforth Dumbledore fix. Yeah. So when he was in it a lot more, did you kind of twig where that ending was going in terms of his lineage, or did it just kind of come as a surprise to you, like a? Because to me it feels like a course correct, because like you said, the whole thing feels like a course correction. That feels like a big steer back the other way. Like the whole film ends, like Grindelwald ends on you're Aurelius Dumbledore, the brother of Albus Dumbledore.
And it's like, oh fuck,
his long lost brother. It's to be like, no, he's just my nephew, and I beat him up in a really easy wand fight.
Yeah, and that ended up killing the sister, Ariana.
Oh, that's how Ariana dies.
Yeah, big spoiler alert. Yeah, so
Ariana's actually in it, because I've not seen
the photo, the same photo from Half Blood or Deathly Hallows. The last 2 installments.
Yes,
that's in Aberforth's little pub hut. It's his house. It's basically a pub. He's a landlord essentially. He owns
because he works at the Hog's Head, didn't he?
There you go. See, you know more than me. But essentially, he's a pub. He's a pub landlord.
Because I know that there's that and the 3 broomsticks, and they're the only pubs. But he doesn't own the 3 broomsticks, I think.
Yeah, because Hogsmeade's in this. There's a village of Hogsmeade's in it, and that's where the
they're
pub
really
is.
Playing off the nostalgia, aren't they?
Yeah, I sort of recognised. I was like, that's from Prisoner of Azkaban. I definitely knew things, but I just couldn't remember the names. But
so that fight with Aurelius kills the sister.
Yes.
That's bold. That's quite good.
That's killed the sister. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool, because but then it takes away the context for why he was annoyed at Dumbledore for just leaving after like their sister died. But it's like, but it's your son's fault that.
No, because
and now it's like, my secret son is the reason my sister's dead, and that's why my brother fucked off.
No. So it was because. Aberforth, again, we never hear a lot from Aberforth because he is kind of silent in those scenes. Yeah, he's just a brother. No, but essentially it's to tie in with the Grindelwald it's to do with the Grindelwald and Albus romance that Aberforth clearly wasn't a fan of. We don't get a lot from his mouth, and I think it was one night where basically they were all around the house. They got into a tussle, I think, because of the secret Dumbledore romance between 2 gay wizards, which Aberforth wasn't down with. They then got into a bit of tussle. Wands were out.
Do they actually specifically mention that? Because I know before, it's just they're more than brothers. Is it implied more of the romantic side?
Yeah, no. Mads Mikkelsen says in the first 20 minutes,
we had a nice
they
penis.
Have a mental conversation. That he says no, I
loved you.
You followed me. He said no, I loved you. Yeah, Jude Law says that to Mikkelsen. He says those words, and then. It is quite cool how they have this big mind conversation. It is kind of like in a bubble. But again, that's just film effects.
So it is Okay.
So no one else can hear them, but it's a nice.
So the
moment.
the tussle then killed.
Oh,
so this was years before the film.
Years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the end of the film was like, oh, his sister's in it, and
sets
this is
that
how
up.
she's dead.
No. But it just
because that would have been like
why...
ballsy, like, hello, brother. Oh, dead.
Hi, honey, I'm home. Crucio. Hi, it's me again. Who's playing the rent this month? No.
So that's okay. So that's nice little backstory. It's nice that they they don't chicken out of it, but obviously they don't commit to it fully. But it's nice that they don't
see flashbacks, but this is all told
because they only put pick-up shots of the Mirror of Erised in Crimes of Grindelwald because everyone's like, why are you playing up that like they were just friends? Like the whole thing is they were more than brothers. They were like
lovers.
They were lovers. They were soulmates essentially. Like they were,
because that's the whole point of that necklace. It was like the equivalent of the unbreakable vow, which got mentioned again.
Yeah, okay.
But it was just in the form of a capsule. That again, prior because of the third act of this movie, it's now broken and destroyed. So
that means they can fight each other.
Yeah.
But also,
guns
like,
out,
because if
out.
they'd have broken the unbreakable vow, they would have both just died, and it would have been a really short movie series.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. No more Harry Potter, folks. Yeah, that would
Does it get broken by accident?
No. I can't.
You can give away spoilers.
No, I am. I'm thinking the beat for beat end scenario because again, that's just like the main meat bones of Potterheads. That's like the main continuity bits that us Potterheads are going to be like, oh, this is why it all happens. But essentially, a huge chunk of the plot, which is where it gets into the more far fetched. If critics are trying to critique it, it is a bit far fetched even for a fucking one film about fucking wands and wizards. Grindelwald is let out of prison. Yet he's the most dangerous wizard of them all. He's the darkest lord before Voldemort. He's praised the evil wizard Grindelwald. Yet he's up for basically presidency election candidacy. He's a candidate to become ruler of the
wizarding community,
the wizarding world, because of the war with the Muggles, which Grindelwald is trying. Because it all comes down to Grindelwald and Voldemort's, passion of, not the Muggles because they're the fucking humans. The magic people ruling over the Muggles. It all comes. It's basically like typical fascism, sort of Third Reichy. Magic rules all. Muggles
they're bad. They want to kill
us. They want to, make the Muggles their slaves, and
because they're going to kill us if we don't overthrow them because we have the power. Because
we
are the future, Charles, not them.
The future. Yeah. Magneto, Xavier. That comparison.
Magneto, Voldemort, the same interchangeable villain.
They are the fucking same. A little
bit. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. And there's other candidates that, again, are kind of in the film. That I don't think they mean anything to the Potter universe. There's not names. It's not like big continuity references. It's just like, all right, these are other people. But for whatever reason, Grindelwald's let out of prison because he did get arrested at the end of the last one. But they're going to put him up for election. Adoption. They put him up for election to become the ruler of the wizarding world. And yet he's fucking dangerous.
And then I'm guessing he doesn't get that, and then in a rage destroys the thing.
Because it all comes down to do with this creature who's essentially a Bambi. I call it Bambi because it's essentially this magical deer, which...
Its mum died.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm thinking, right. That's how the movie opens. This magical Bambi mother deer dies and gives birth to this infant Bambi deer, essentially. And with that, they use it in this election because the deer can sort of stare into someone's true soul.
Oh, wow.
And see basically it decides who should rule the visiting world. But of course, Grindelwald is going to use this one that died, brings it into a Lazarus pit, brings it back to life, so its soul is tainted, but the community doesn't know that. And essentially he's going to use this Bambi deer to elect him as the wizard, as the leader of the wizarding world.
Yeah.
Yet Jude Law intervenes in the third act. I mean, this is a very quick breakdown. Jude Law had the Bambi mother deer had a secret Bambi twin that Jude Law and Newt sort of save at the very beginning of the first film. Fucking hell, what am I talking about? In the first act.
Yeah.
And essentially, Bambi won, the dead Bambi that Grindelwald brought back to life is like, yes, he, of course, doesn't talk about, yes, you are the ruler, oh, praise the Grindelwald, and flags go off, and they're like, Grindelwald, Mickelson, and then Jude Law goes, spoiler alert, that is a fake. Blasphemy! Dumbledore, arrest him! He is preposterous! And then that's when Newt comes along with the real Bambi deer, and Mads Mikkelsen's like, what is this nonsense? I am the chief! I am the ruler of the visiting world! And then that's when...
Does he get more German as the film goes on?
No, I'm just having fun with this. And then the real Bambi deer comes along, fucking knocks out the dead one, and then, oh look, one of the other candidates can rule the wrestling world, and essentially that's how it fucking ends. Grindelwald's like, fuck you, Dumbledore. So you see this love for you, huh? You see this? Crucio! And it destroys.
Does he actually destroy it on purpose? So he basically picks up...
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
It somehow I can't remember. It somehow gets destroyed.
You're not telling me that the magical space Bambi deer chooses Dumbledore to rule instead?
Yes. I had to think about that.
Really?
Honestly, I had to fucking... Honestly.
Wow.
That's the thing. In terms of
it's
very convoluted and ridiculous. Yeah. But, yeah.
Or does it basically go, like, literally just choose anyone but him?
Anyone but him. No, Dumbledore was sort of sitting there like, no, don't go to me. Like, no. And because it does sense like the kindest and purest soul to sort of lead the wizarding community. And, of course, it sort of kneels at Dumbledore's lap. And Newt's sort of like, oh, go on, I think it's for you. Like, with his weird, wonky... it's for you.
Does it bow to Newt?
No, he does, I think, also as well. He sort of acknowledges Newt, but then goes, fuck you, I want Dumbledore.
Yeah. Dumbledore's got a better coat.
Dumbledore, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Where does it leave it?
When you actually watch the movie, it all makes so much more emotional sense, because I've literally just gone, yeah, Grindelwald killed a fucking deer, brought it back to life, used it in his porn of world domination.
It sounds like a mix between Bambi, Pet Sematary, and The Lion King.
A little bit. Yeah, Simba versus Scar. One of them's an undead hyena, and the other one's a Bambi deer. Yeah.
So, in terms of where it leaves it, what is the final sort of thing? Where does it leave it? Who's dead? Is it just Grindelwald escapes? I'll get you next time, Grindelwald, and maybe these characters will still be here in this film series.
And along with whatever new invention they come along with, yeah. Because there's one teacher who was in this trailer who again escaped me. I thought her character was great, but she is a Hogwarts teacher, and the teacher's name's going to bug me because it might be someone from like Continuity, but I don't remember who the fuck it is. I'm gonna just find her name very quickly. As Professor Eulalie Hicks, Professor Hicks, yeah,
Eulalie Hicks. Oh, she's an Ilvermorny.
Who then was teaching at Hogwarts while Dumbledore's off doing stuff.
Oh, right. Can you cover for me while I'm fighting this Nazi wizard near this dead deer?
No, but then I want to address Grindelwald, because in the first 5 minutes, he has more dialogue than depth. He's menacing, he's terrifying. But the visual look, my criticism with Mikkelsen...
Why didn't they not line up the looks?
Yeah, because he's just Mads Mikkelsen in a suit with his hair just flat in a comb over.
Maybe they went for simpler's better, like... You could have dyed his hair blonde. Like, you could have, bleached it.
Or at least given him the same haircut, or a similar haircut.
I don't think the haircut would have suited Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, maybe not.
Or maybe keep it the same tone. Dye it the way it is. Dye his beard, make him grow one and dye it, like in terms of the weird. You're like, you think you can, because he still has the eye. He still has the funky eye.
Yeah, but even in some shots, again, this is just CGI nitpicking. It didn't look like, it just looked like normal eyes. But then there are close-ups where you see the eye, but it's not as prominent as it is with depth. Again.
But in a film series where people can change their face, why not just be like, and he just, for some reason, it's the same outfit, but we've just given it to Colin Farrell because he has the same haircut, and fuck me if we're not going to utilise the fact that this man can dress up as anyone and be a really good actor.
Yeah, that could have been so much more, but it's just the look. It did fucking bother me because it just feels like Mads Mikkelsen in a suit, and there's nothing visually exciting about him. But what comes out of his mouth?
More?
Oh, he's a real threat. At the same time, you get why Dumbledore back in the day, when they were like naughty, horny teenagers, might have been attracted to one another. Whereas Johnny Depp, I'm not saying it's not
because they've clearly converged on different paths, but you can see the things that why they were friends and why their relationship grew.
And that's where this film sorts out both characters in that respect and does the whole relationship
mainly because
side well.
Dumbledore's in it more than the 5 minutes of
of the
here's the mission. I'm on a bus. Here's a magic card.
Yes. Come meet me, ciao.
Yeah, bye. Fuck off. I'll be in the next one.
See you later at Hogwarts, kids.
If I don't like the cut of your jive, shit's gonna hit the wind. Matt Berry as Gellert Grindelwald.
Oh no.
If I don't like the cut of the Muggle world, shit's gonna hit the wind. Unhand me, you wizard pricks.
Oh, that should have come out of his mouth at the ends of Where to Find Them, where he gets arrested in hand.
You think your prison can fucking hold me? Don't fucking swear at me. Oh man. Anyone die at the end?
No.
No.
Maybe one person. I can't remember who. No, they almost kill off Jacob. They almost kill off Dan Vogler, and that was fucking gut wrenching. But no, they didn't have the balls to do it.
Is Ezra still alive?
Unfortunately, yes.
But is it in a position where, like, he could easily not come back for the rest of the series?
I mean, he's basically critically wounded. He could be.
He could die in between films.
In a Lazarus pit, and then come out a slightly youthful actor, bring more charisma to it, maybe. I don't know.
Or just get rid of the character, because it seems like that aspect of that character story is kind of done.
Gone. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
why would you add another character to just tag along when they've already had 4 and already got rid of 2, apart from cameos and stuff at the end? And because Queenie's not in it a lot.
No, but she's in it enough. It's not Tina from Crimes of Grindelwald where she's in it here and she's in it there. Though she is in it throughout every sort of few scenes.
And you're like,
Grindelwald's side.
Queenie's there.
And I'm like, no, if I didn't watch Grindelwald, I'd be like, fuck, why are you on the dark side, you bitch? Padme betrayed Anakin.
And then Tina's literally at the end.
Yeah, at a wedding. At a wedding. That's how the movie ends, at a wedding.
It's Jacob's one, isn't it?
Yeah, Jacob and Queenie's, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think it, because, again, not all of it stayed here, but, like, I did, yeah. All of it,
Yeah.
I'm just tired.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's like a good 75% breakdown.
So we're at the point now where, like, they can fight each other. We're building 2 films to go.
Yeah.
We've got to robe up Jude Law. We've got to wrap up this story. We've got to fight Grindelwald and not kill him because he has to be in Azkaban, but he has to take the Elder Wand and then maybe become headmaster. Maybe you end the series with him as Jude Law going to meet Tom Riddle, and then you're like,
yeah, that should be the final shot.
Like him, but him walking down, like, make it up so that it's like he looks the same in that. So then you don't have to have Robe Dumbledore, because then that Dumbledore's kind of in transition anyway, because he's got like a roby suit. So you get the longer hair on Jude, you get the longer beard, grey up a bit more, but because obviously we can actually see this in colour because it's in black and white, because it's in the pensive, because it's a memory or whatever. So you get him walking down that street in the same recreation of that shot from Half-Blood Prince. Get him in that room, and then it's like, I'm here to speak to Tom, but you never showed Tom Riddle. And then, like, here you can do, like, extraordinary things, and then it ends. Because then it's like, and then that's how, if you want to, like, watch it in that order, you watch them Fantastic Beasts and then you watch Harry Potter, because then it's like, and then Tom Riddle happened, because the rest, you know, is history. He turns into Richard Harris, and then he turns into Michael Gambon, and all the things happen, and then he dies falling off an astrology tower.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you end it.
The life and retrospective of Jude Law right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to recreate any things with, like, I don't want, like, James Potter, Sirius, and all that. I don't want them at school with Jude Law dressed as Gambon, Harris, Dumbledore. I don't want that.
No, I agree.
I want a thing of, we know these things happened.
Yeah.
Just allude to, and then he grew into the teacher that we all knew and loved.
And maybe have them in the Great Hall clapping, "Oh, new headmaster Albus Dumbledore," and have them in the background.
Maybe, yeah.
Have them in the
yeah, but you never focus on them.
No, just
like, you don't have a close up of that's a boy that looks like Harry but younger. That's clearly
looks
James.
Like Snape. That looks like exactly. Yeah.
Maybe you just have that of him becoming headmaster and giving his first, like, talk, and then that's how it ends.
And that's how it ends. Yeah.
Because then you get Jude Law performing the. Oh, well, you thought of good ways to end the series.
There you go. Employ us, please. Yeah.
Interesting. So what would you, in terms of the series as a whole, in terms of ranking, how are you doing them at the moment?
What am I ranking them out of letters or just numbers or what?
No, like, in terms of a 1, 2, 3. What's the best one? What's the worst one?
I'm gonna put Where to Find Them at the bottom.
Really?
Yeah.
Below Crimes.
I did enjoy Crimes this time around. I just kind of I switched off because I was trying to think, right, how's this going to add to this third movie? This third movie works better without watching the second one.
Yeah, because obviously that's more of the story of what they're going for. Of like, Dumbledore's in it, Grindelwald's in it. It's kind of, we build into
Newt's
that.
relevant. You know, Jacob and Queenie are relevant.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Second would be.
Oh, I mean, this will fucking change in 6 months. Well, I'm going to go, Crime second, and then maybe this new one I enjoyed the most. It's slow in the first act. There are scenes that kind of feel like you could have cut so much out. you could have like Zack Snydered it and just gone. There's bits where it doesn't feel like they don't know what they're doing in certain scenes. They are just kind of airing it out for airtime. Because the other two are like 2 hours and 7 and 6 minutes. This one's 2 hours and 23. So you've got like 20 extra minutes.
Is it the long? Let me Google. It's the longest Wizarding World movie.
Oh, well, see, I didn't go that far. I know it's the longest Fantastic Beasts.
Yes.
But that's a good question. I didn't really think about that.
Wizarding. Keep talking about.
No, fuck it. I genuinely did enjoy this one a lot more. The creatures are right in this. The Fantastic Beasts element of the creatures were really on point in this, and sort of hit back home.
Jesus!
The grander scheme of the Wizarding World narrative sort of finally has a step forward. Where exactly it's going, I don't. It can go in any poxy direction at the minute. But ideally, 2 more films to sort of round it up, do the transition right to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And George has got the information.
Okay, so I've got the run times. So where did you say it was? 2 hours and 23 minutes.
2 hours and 23.
So I'll put it in when we get. So from the bottom upwards. From the shortest Wizarding World movies to the longest. So the shortest is actually Deathly Hallows Part 2.
What's that?
2 hours 10.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. 2 hours 12.
Oh, okay. I swear I googled 7 and 8 minutes, but maybe that's Google, whatever.
It might be including credits.
Possibly, maybe, I don't know. But okay, so 2 minutes difference.
Fantastic Beasts 2, 2 hours 13.
A minute longer. Okay, yeah.
Order of the Phoenix 2:18.
So 5-ish minutes longer. Okay.
Azkaban 2:21.
Okay, interesting order.
So then it would be Secrets of Dumbledore 2:23.
Okay. Yeah.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 2:26.
Okay. Yeah.
You're starting to feel it now more with these, aren't you?
As it's what going on, I'm like,
I'm
going to watch a Harry Potter film and think, fucking hell, this drags.
Philosopher's Stone 2:32.
But that ain't a drag. That's a great film. Yeah.
Half-Blood Prince 2:33.
A minute longer. See, that one I feel like drags, but yeah. Yeah.
Goblet of Fire 2:36.
That's a drag. I feel. Yeah.
Which means that
the
last film. One, if you've worked it out at home, Chamber of Secrets 2 hours 41.
But I love that movie, but it's the fucking longest.
Yeah.
What?
Which is still...
That's an odd order.
That is, yeah, strange. But there, we've learned.
Wow, that's okay.
There's a cliffhanger to end on. Yeah. That the Harry Potter films are longer than you thought, and it's just because we enjoyed them so much as kids that they flew by.
Yeah, clearly, yeah. Blimey.
Interesting. But then there is a lot of the books to adapt, and there's a lot of each book, so... you'd expect them. I don't think you could have done a Harry Potter film less than 2 hours long anyway.
Oh no!
Fantastic Beasts. Does it feel at all like this will be sort of my first, my last, my everything,
last, my first and last? Yeah.
My first last question is, because famously The Hobbit is one book, planned for 2 films, stretched out to 3. Does it feel like they kind of don't know what they're doing and they're kind of making it? Because I know this is a course correction, as I've said so many times to you.
This is Rise of Skywalker. I'm not comparing it to it, but done right, as opposed to. But except Rise of Skywalker is different because that's meant
a course correction that works
was meant to end everything.
But there's like course correct and now end it. Whereas this is course correct and we've got a bit more time to maybe go on this part.
Hopefully, go on the right track. Yeah.
Does it feel like that? Like Game of Thrones past when they caught up to the books? Does it feel like they're just making it up, or does it feel like there is enough material to make the story work? It doesn't feel like like you said. They're just padding things, making up certain plot points. Because at the end of the day, the story in itself doesn't exist because it's based off of a textbook from the Wizarding World.
Yeah, a kid's textbook or whatever. I'll go more what your first statement. It does kind of feel like they are. Yeah, what was the first thing you said? The first.
No, does it feel like they're just making it without the source material? Does it feel obvious, like that they're sort of padding it out because The Hobbit is not. 3 films worth of stuff. It's
except arguably,
two-ish.
I'd feel like Where to Find Them is The Hobbit in this case.
One story on its own.
Yeah. Okay. And then Secrets of Dumbledore, Crimes of Grindelwald, Dumbledore, and whatever the other 2 will be.
So like this is
an Where to Find Them's the prologue.
This is an intersexual story that is just happenstance in the same. It's like and while this is happening, like this is what's happening with Dumbledore.
A little bit, yeah. I think.
How did your rewatch work for you? Did you feel like they were all one part of one story, or were you like
that's the
jarring?
No, it is where to find them, and you go to Crimes of Grindelwald, and you're like, these are two different movies. Not just in the making sense, but this it's just two different trajectories, two different visions, but not akin to like Force Awakens, Last Jedi, where it's like, I'm one person, I want to do this, I'm the other person, I want to do that. It's just, where to find them is literally just a one book piece based on the textbook, like we keep reiterating, and then it got to the second one because of money and popularity. They're like, of course, Warner Brothers and JK was probably on the phone. They're like, all right, we've got to make more of these because money talks. The successful film. David Yates, you're back on the job, mate.
Yeah,
go and do it. And then they got into shooting the second one, and then JK must have tapped in on the shoulder and gone, right, I kind of want you to do what you like, do the whole creative freedom thing, but I want you to somehow connect to the best-selling book series of all time, aka my books. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, just to make clear. But yeah, do what you want, pat yourself on the back, and get on with it. And then it feels like that second film was a cock up in that sense because it felt like the first story of this vision, and then this is where this new film comes in and is at least continuing that thread. Honestly, if Where to Find Them just feels like it
sticks out a lot more
to me. But it's a good, especially for the younger demographic and kids, it's just a good creature CGI distraction creature fest. But I don't feel like there's hardly any real world building. You could take out the Hogwarts, you could take out the Ministry of Magic, you could keep them as auras, you could take out Ministry of Magic, remove the Hogwarts references, the one flashback, the Lestrange name, and you could honestly just call this a magic film. It could just be a fan-made, but a very well-made, with a lot of budget, fan-made wizarding film. Maybe set in the Harry Potter universe, but you wouldn't know.
Okay.
But whereas the other two feel like at least it's an attempt at a narrative set in that universe.
Oh, cool.
I feel like that's where, on this rewatch, that's where I feel like my mind's at. Again, if you're talking about individual movies and how they were made and what they were going for, that's a different topic. But Crimes of Grindelwald and Secrets of Dumbledore are more in sync than Where to Find Them, I think. Because I don't know where it was trying to find to begin with, what it was trying to find. It was trying to find them, but it found the beast, but then where was it going after that? And, it's just, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
Interesting.
Well, that's where we'll leave it for this discussion of Fantastic Beasts on this here podcast, because we've once again got another week where we promise Moon Knight and don't talk about it. But maybe someone else has got control of the body, and maybe we can't say it. Maybe I don't know. But we would definitely touch on Moon Knight a bit next week because I'm assuming.
Should we do the first two, like first act next week? Maybe 3 and 4.
I'm at the point because obviously we're talking about Legend of the Sea Devils is going to be the main thing because that's what we got Will on for. So it's going to be hard to talk about it in depth, especially so there'll be 4 episodes by then. Maybe we just wait 2 weeks and talk about Moon Knight as a whole thing,
for it to all come out,
because then it gives us time to process it, watch it again, and see what's going on. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching, listening, receiving, and instrumentalizing this podcast into your brains. As always, I've been George.
I've been Stephen, Mark, Newt, Scamander, Conor.
Yeah.
Hello.
And if you want to get in contact throughout the week, you can do so by following @PastySheep across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you want to send directly electronic mail
to nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com.
And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share if you've not done so already. All that's left to say is we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, Wizarding World, Hogwartians. Back to class. And also Dumbledore, of course, is Defense Against the Dark Arts.